Um, Hello everyone. So my name is David. I am 23 years old, and I live in a city called Bangor, which is in Wales, actually. Um, the reason I live here in Wales is because I study at the university, doing a master's course in neuroimaging. So I've been living here in Bangor for almost 4 years now, and I've enjoyed it quite a lot, actually. Um, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life at the end of this, which is kind of in about a month's time, actually. But anyway, that's another topic completely. So what I aim to do today is to talk about, well, firstly, why I'm making this video, and secondly, what has influenced me, and finally, kind of like my aims of what I hope to do in the future. So I have I have grown up speaking two languages. So the first is English, as you can obviously tell, but the second is Afrikaans. So I grew up in South Africa and moved to England when I was 12 years old. But up until that point, I lived in a very rural South African town, and I picked up Afrikaans there. Now, at this point in my life, I didn't really think about languages very much. And when I started going to secondary school, it still didn't really interest me that much. And I think it may have been to do with the way it was taught in school. But anyway, I kind of finished school, and one day I was on the train home, and I heard this group of school kids on holiday here in England talking in German, and it kind of burned me that I didn't really understand what they were saying or what they were talking about. And a couple of days later, I thought maybe it'd be fun to pick up another language. Not really thinking, oh, this will be a very hard job to do. I thought it might be quite easy, maybe take a couple of months or whatever. So anyway, so I went into the local Smiths, which is a kind of a stationery slash kind of bookstore here in the United Kingdom, and bought a Blitz Premier pack, which cost something like £30. And for the first couple of weeks, it was quite fun. It was novel, but then it kind of tailed off, and I look back now, and I think it was probably to do with the fact that I didn't have the right attitude, or I wasn't motivated enough. But anyway, so fast forward to about 2 months ago, and I mean, the need for wanting to learn a language, that kind of desire has still stuck there, but I've just always thought that I haven't had the right attitude or talent, etc., whatever you call it. I've made excuses. But anyway, so 2 months ago, a friend suggested a website called Duolingo.com. Went on there and started, on a German course at the beginning, level 1. And I didn't really think much about it. I'm quite a competitive person, so the game aspect of the website was very useful to me in kind of learning the basics, essentially. So I learned a fair amount just by kind of having fun, really. And then I thought to myself, well, wait a second, I seem to be quite motivated now, and anyway, so then I bought like a couple of other books, and I started trying to learn German. So that was the first kind of main starting point. The second is the fact that I kind of, and this was kind of about maybe a month and a half ago, I started watching videos on the internet, on YouTube, of other people who could speak 5+ languages, and well, especially someone called Benny Lewis. Now, one of the reasons that I kind of tailed off learning German 4 or 5 years ago after school is that I felt I was kind of past it. I was too old. Now, obviously, this is very stupid. Being 23 years old, I've got a good few years in front of me. And when I watched his videos, he was talking about how at 21 he could only speak English, but over the next 10 years he'd learned 10 plus languages. And I thought to myself, this I want to be like this person. And anyway, so I started looking at more videos on YouTube of other polyglots who could speak 5 plus languages, and it soon became apparent that these people really enjoyed what they were doing. And it was very inspiring. And over the past couple of months, I must say that I have, every morning when I wake up, I have this real desire to want to learn a little bit more about the language. Now, this is partly to do with the fact that I've come to the realization that it is like climbing a mountain. But you mustn't look at the top of the mountain. You must look, a couple of steps ahead. And every day I do learn maybe 10 new words or 1 grammar point, or something else clicks in my mind. And every time this happens, it feels great. But I don't think about 1 year down the line or 2 years down the line when I want to be fluent or be able to have a conversation with somebody else. And that has kind of been very important in the fact that I've got to where I am at the moment. Now, I talk as if I'm fluent in German already, but I'm not. I'm still, very much a beginner. But I can speak a few words, and I've got a language buddy that I speak to as well on Skype, and every time we meet up, it's very exciting because I get to express new ideas or new words that I've learned, and it's fun. And I don't think about the future. I think about the next day, and maybe I'll learn something new then. And I have progressed quite a lot, in fact. When I look back over the past week or even 2 days ago, I think, oh well, I didn't know that before, and it's very helpful, and I enjoy it very much. Anyway, so that is that section finished with. So how do I learn? So I learn I try to take 1 or 2 different approaches. After starting with Duolingo for the first 3 or 4 weeks, I thought maybe it would be worth buying some other resources and try and see whether there's something that kind of helps me a lot in learning German. I have a book called Get Started in German. Now, this is the first kind of package I bought when I was starting to become serious about German. And yeah, this was good. It was interesting, but I felt as though I'd made a bad choice, because at this point I'd already learnt a lot of the material that is in this book. I mean, as you can see, it does say absolute beginner, and Duolingo kind of got me past that, absolute beginner stage. So anyway, so I did quite like the teach yourself kind of package, if you will. So I then bought Complete German, and I've kind of done 3 or 4 lessons on this. But as I said, this isn't the only resource that I've been using. I have been on the internet, and I have been speaking to native speakers via Skype, and this has helped a lot. In addition to both those course books, I also have a Collins Complete German, which is tables of grammar, verbs, and vocabulary, and this has been useful, particularly for learning grammar points, actually. And then a couple of days ago, I found these in a local shop, and they were quite interesting as well, so I thought I'd buy them. I mean, they were only £2 each, so it was all good. So where am I going to go from here? Well, I think that in the next month or 2, once I finish my master's degree, that I might travel to Germany and see if I can practice the German that I've learned there, maybe whilst doing other things like working etc., etc. But I also aim to learn other languages as well. I'm quite interested in French, particularly from my memory of it at school. Although I didn't, pick any of it up, I do remember it. It did sound very nice, and again, like I do want to speak to other people. That's kind of my main motivation. That I don't understand people, and there are people that can't speak English and only their native language, and that's kind of like my main motivation. And I don't know, maybe in 10 years' time I will speak many more languages fluently. I don't know. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you will subscribe to this channel. I'll try and post videos weekly or bi-weekly about my progress in my German. That is the main reason why I've started this channel. So anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.